all you Whovians out there. If you can hear me, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. Help! Does someone know where I am?
Not a clue.
Sorry. Sorry, can't help you.
Yeah.
Well, if the Spoonheads would please release me, I'll let you know you've come across Mark Who 42's WHOniverse. I'm Mark Baumgarten, and with me today are...
Tricia Helm.
And Eduardo M Freyre.
And special guest...
No, I'm not a spoonhead. I am a servant. This is Christian from the Legend-of-the-Traveling-tardis.
Yay, Christian. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I think I was lifted off the do not invite back list, so that's why I'm here. Or it's in the do not fly list. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the do not fly list, but you were invited to come back anytime you want. I'm wondering why you waited so long.
Oh. Special things.
So how was everyone's week? Or 2 weeks, because we haven't been on for 2 weeks. A new episode, actually.
Oh, it's been great. Good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm having an awesome weekend. This has been. I mean, yeah, it's Easter for those of you who celebrate. This is Easter weekend. You know,
Happy
Easter weekend. Happy Easter. Jesus is risen. Hallelujah. But if you are,
and the token Jew on the show says Gesundheit.
Well, and happy Passover.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's Passover.
But if you're a geek like all of us, this weekend has been an utter delight because in addition to talking about what we're going to talk about today, which is the return of Doctor Who,
Woohoo!
Was also the release of the long-awaited G.I. Joe Retaliation, which Mark and I saw on Friday. And
yes, we did.
Immensely. No spoonheads in that, no TARDISi, but still a much enjoyable film.
Yeah, no Eccleston.
No Eccleston. But hey, but who knows? He may be. We may get him if this movie does great enough and they do G.I. Joe 3. Hopefully, Destro will be back. Come on, guys! Come on, see the movie. Come on, John Chu. If you're a Doctor Who fan and you're listening to this, come on, Destro and G.I. Joe 3. Come on, put him back in the band. Come on, John, please. Okay, I loved your movie. I loved your movie. Come on, put him back in the band. Come on.
A little more begging, please. A little more begging.
Yeah,
please. Please, come on, man. Come on.
We saw G.I. Joe, but on Saturday, it was International Tabletop Game Day, thanks to Will Wheaton, on Saturday, March 30th. And I actually attended a gaming day at Cool Stuff Games in South Florida. They have 3 stores, Maitland, Winter Park, and Hollywood, Florida. And they gave us free pizza. We had drinks. They gave us a party bag, and we were playing games, and it was fun. It really was. I won. I won several games. Plus, I won one of the raffles. I won a game called Ticket to Ride. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
No. It's supposed to be a family game that's the 3 million sold around the world, and they're supposed to be really cool. And you know, the gaming wasn't just for Saturday. They have the Hollywood store, at least, has gaming night every Wednesday, 5 to close, and I'll be there sometimes from now on because I've decided I like gaming. So maybe you'll meet Mark Who 42 at Cool Stuff Games in Hollywood, Florida.
Yes, but more importantly, Mark, so you were playing Ticket to Ride. Which Beatle were you?
Very good. Very good. Good. British reference because we are a Doctor Who podcast. We've got to go British. Yes, Ticket to Ride. I was George Harrison.
Okay. This means you're going to have to do a pitch perfect rendition of Dream Away.
Maybe later. Okay. Do you know what? I think we should start off with...
Well, we are, of course, going to start off with all the Doctor Who news with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia Helm.
Yay!
Yay! Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Now, we hear that you are on site for a very special announcement. What is going on, Patricia?
Well, I guess the biggest news of the week was that Doctor Who Magazine, BBC News, and BBC One all confirmed that David Tennant and Billie Piper will be returning for the 50th anniversary.
Woohoo!
And John Hurt has also been confirmed to be in the 3D anniversary special.
Hey, maybe the Chestburster will come out in 3D.
But they said that the 3D special is going to form only part of the blockbuster celebrations that are going to take over the BBC.
Excellent.
So that means there's going to be more than one.
Wow.
Yay!
Yeah.
I have to say that I don't mean to sound like I don't mean to sound like kind of an ungrateful fanboy, like, oh my god, you still haven't, I don't I don't mean to sound like that. But first of all, I will say this. This is a good start. This is a good start. We now have confirmation that there's going to be more than one Doctor for a 50th anniversary special. The only thing is, I kind of want to hear, is this going to be it? Or is there going to be more? Like, are we actually going to get one of the older Doctors?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. This was a special announcement that was supposed to be only in Doctor Who magazine, and when it came out in the Post on Thursday to people next Thursday, but it came out early, so the beans were spilled. There'll be more news closer to
the other thing is, I hope to God that when they're talking having Tennant and Billy Piper back, that we are going to have, the 10th Doctor and Rose from sometime in season 2. That they're not going to decide, the dimensional barrier is broken down again, and Rose is back with her hand-cloned Doctor boyfriend. Like, really, I don't want that. Be the 10th Doctor. It's going to be the 10th Doctor. Like,
well, if it is a human Doctor and Rose, maybe there'll be a snogging booth for them.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not how you celebrate 50 years of Doctor Who, with a snogging booth.
Yeah, but that's how I celebrate fun in my backyard.
I would celebrate anything with a snogging booth, really.
I got those in my backyard. Yeah. At least.
Yeah, I'm building a shed and I'm going to paint it blue. It's my snogging booth.
Now, I hate
Companions don't kiss!
No, I hate to... Yeah, until the 8th Doctor. But I hate to be a bummer to you, but you know what? They said that Tennant and Billy Piper in there now. If we know Doctor Who history, and especially from Big Finish, who says that they're the 10th Doctor and Rose?
That's right. They could be playing other characters.
If we think about, the lines of, Zagreus, where they weren't even, the Doctors. They were something else or something, collaboratively different, but they're still in it, Who knows where Moffat will take off with this, so...
Hopefully Stephen Moffat won't try and be a wise guy, because, really, don't play with the fans like that. Like, oh, look, it's David Tennant, so it's the 10th Doctor, but he's not the 10th Doctor. Come on, just give us the 10th Doctor.
I think that would tick off a lot of fans, me included.
They promised that the actors would be back. They didn't promise us that he'd be back.
Well, the thing is that we want the Doctors. We don't want the actors.
Exactly.
We don't want the actors?
Honestly,
no, we want the actors, but we want them as the Doctors.
Right, exactly. Like, here's the thing. If this turns out to be Moffat messing around, if on Tuesday, we're recording this on Sunday, tomorrow's April Fool's Day. If Tuesday, April 2nd, news come out that Moffat goes, just kidding. Forget Daleks going down the streets of London. You're going to have Who fans with pitchforks, torches, and sharpened sonic screwdrivers wanting Moffat's head on a plate, and I ain't exactly going to be running to defend him. I'm going to be like, well, Steve, man, you decided to play with our emotions, so, I'm not going to help you. Sorry, man.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't do it that way, but if it's a really good story like Zagreus was, then... Well,
hopefully. Honestly, I would want it to be a good story. Now, I'm probably one of legions of fans who are hoping for a multi-Doctor story because it's been kind of tradition. But, if he does have an idea on how to make a good story, and maybe not play to our expectations, okay, I hope so. But with all this kind of keeping things secret and keeping things close to the vest and going, no, don't worry, you're going to like it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's like, okay, but... from experience, when you don't tell people what's going on, you say it's going to be awesome, it's that you didn't want to tell them because really it's not.
In the past, we've also had a multi-Doctor episode. Dimensions in Time, did I say that? That was just...
Okay, well, that's true. Okay, that's true. Although that also was kind of...
It never happened.
Well, yeah, those were special circumstances, but, fans have wanted, some sort of presence of the old series, so it's and more than just oh look, it's the Diary of Impossible Things, and oh look, that drawing looks like 6, and oh that drawing looks like an Ice Warrior, and oh that drawing looks like 4. It's kind of wants something a little more, especially because this is the big 5-0.
Ed, I have an idea.
Okay.
Why don't I ask Miss Kislet to turn up the obedience marker on her computer pad and on Stephen Moffat's face? Would that work for you? Would that work? If I made him obedient to you? If we made Stephen Moffat obedient to you? 100%?
I would actually like to switch on most Tudor women, but that's my take.
I'll turn his IQ down so he won't question it. Okay?
Well, no, don't do that. Don't do that because it backfire. It could backfire.
It might backfire.
And we could end up with Megan Fox as the 12th Doctor, and I wouldn't want.
Boy, Michael Bay had that one coming, right?
He always has it coming. He'll never not have it coming.
How's that career going? I actually wanted to take it one step further. I think all the Whovians all over should have some kind of big thing. I would love to see, like in Times Square, something on for the 50th anniversary, just as large as the New York City New Year's Eve Day.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be phenomenal.
That would be so cool.
We need lots of confetti.
Yeah.
Tons of confetti.
Ticker tape parade, yes.
Well, that's just me. It's just me.
Shall we go back to the news?
Let's go back to the news,
please.
Okay. Well, speaking of the 50th anniversary special, actor Ken Bones from Upstairs Downstairs is going to be playing a character that's just simply called the General.
The General.
And a new actor named Orlando James is going to be playing someone called Lord Bentham. And then Marshall Griffin has also been cast, but they don't know who he's going to be playing. So that's the new casting news for the 50th.
You just mentioned John Hurt. Is there any other Doctor Who, Harry Potter connection news?
Well,
cast of Harry Potter.
I know
that was probably the most masterful segue I've ever heard, and that's down to you, Mr. Ed. Thank you very much. Trish?
Well, Richard Griffiths died this week, even though
we lost Uncle Vernon.
Yeah, we lost Uncle Vernon, but he didn't have a direct link to Doctor Who, but I think, Ed, you told me that he had some connection.
Yes, I think Mark and I, when we were researching it, after we saw the movie after we saw Retaliation on Friday, we were having dinner and we were doing research, and we found out that at least twice he was in line to pilot the TARDIS.
I actually had the magazine that said if they had continued on without Sylvester, if they regenerated him, they were looking at Richard Griffiths to play the Doctor.
Yeah,
and they have pictures of it too. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, we almost had Uncle Vernon as the 8th Doctor.
Cool.
There could have been in another universe when we saw Harry Potter, we could have been, oh my God, the 8th Doctor is Harry's uncle.
He's a jerk.
And I think Julia Slotha from AbFab would have been the companion.
Yeah, she was in Curse of the Fatal Death, wasn't she?
Yeah, she would have been a companion for the Richard Griffith Doctor had they.
So she was really going to be. That's why she was probably in it. Wow. Yeah.
And Doctor Who has been nominated for 2 BAFTA awards.
Woohoo!
Hey.
Nothing for acting. But...
not.
Come on, that's not fair. You just make us excited, and now. Nothing.
Well, they got nominated for visual effects and graphic design, and then Murray Gold is nominated for original television music for the episode Asylum of the Daleks. And then some more summaries of the next episodes that are coming out of Doctor Who. Those have been released.
Okay.
And
we want to really give spoilers? Do we
want to give spoilers? Do we want it to go through these?
No, we don't really want to give spoilers.
Well, they're not really spoilers. Okay. They're just summaries.
This is just summaries and synopses. I mean, if you get spoiled by a summary and synopses, then you're either A, Sheldon Cooper, or
Bazinga.
Okay, so the next episode is called The Rings of Akatan.
Yeah.
And the summary for that is that Clara wants to see something awesome, so the Doctor whisks her off to the inhabited rings of the planet Akatan, where the Festival of Offerings is in full swing. Clara meets the young Queen of Years as the pilgrims and natives ready for the ceremony, but something is stirring in the pyramid, and a sacrifice will be demanded.
It's like the Aztecs.
Yeah, the Aztecs.
Sacrifice, yeah.
Well, hopefully, unlike the Aztecs, we won't have the High Priest of Sacrifice staring right at the camera and people monologuing.
I don't care.
Look, I'm very scary and I'm doing an evil monologue.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know about you, but that was the scariest moment in Doctor Who ever. It freaked me out to no end.
Well, I don't know. The thing for me with the High Priest of Sacrifice staring directly at the camera doing an evil monologue is, as someone who's a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, I couldn't help but start laughing and going, But what do you, the audience at home, think? I probably shouldn't have. I just couldn't. But
Oh, God. And the next episode is called Cold War.
Cold War.
Yep. And the Doctor and Clara land on a damaged Russian submarine in 1983 as it spirals out of control into the ocean depths. An alien creature, which we know is the Ice Warriors, is loose on board, having escaped from a block of Arctic ice.
So is Sean Connery in this? Because I'm just guessing.
Well, it says with tempers flaring and a cargo of nuclear weapons on board, it's not just the crew but the whole of humanity at stake.
So I guess this episode should, instead of in addition to being called Cold War, this episode should also be called, I guess, Hunt for Blue October.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's what we're going for.
An intense battle between Sean Connery as he does Celebrity Jeopardy with Alex Trebek.
I'll take the rapist for 100.
Excuse me, laddie, but if you're going to do impressions of Sean Connery, perhaps you should ask someone
who's
a drama major.
You're not doing a good one either. I'm sorry. We both blew that one.
I think we'll leave it. I think we'll leave it up to the audience who does a better Sean Connery impression. Now, why don't you be a good boy and sit down before I come over there and I smack you one?
The name is James Bond. Hello, Miss Moneypenny.
Remember, audience, if you want to comment on who does a better Sean Connery impression, then send your messages to Mark at markwho42.com. Message us on Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to Gallifrey in Hell. You know that.
Yes.
We're going to Gallifrey in Hell. Do we have any more news? Do you have another episode synopsis for us?
I've got a couple more.
Give us a few more.
So then the next episode is called Hide. The working titles for that were Phantom of the Hex and The Hider in the House.
Phantom of the Hex, that was that episode title that was supposed to be episode 1 of Series 7B, wasn't it?
Apparently.
Yeah, but it's not.
Clara and the Doctor arrive at Calburn House, a haunted mansion sat alone on a desolate moor. Within its walls, a ghost-hunting professor and a gifted psychic are searching for the Witch of the Well. Her apparition appears throughout the history of the building, but is she really a ghost? And what is chasing her?
Oh boy,
I think that's going to be a hide behind the sofa episode.
So it's gonna be a haunted mansion?
Sounds like it.
So I guess everybody in the episode will be trying to find a way out.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
Sure, go hide behind the couch, little boy. We'll let you know when the grown-ups are done.
Yep.
There is a slight chance that our ratings just went down.
Our ratings can only go up at this point. I think we've got the chipmunk outside my window listing. Hi, little fella.
My dog just walked out of the room, so that was my rating.
Oh. Yeah. Did I mention hi to everyone on the Geekcast Radio Network listening in and Florida Geek Scene? We were glad you listened to us, and we'll try to do a little better now, guys.
Well, hey, that's Mark. I mean, I think I'm doing fine.
Okay, the next one is called Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. They didn't really have a big synopsis about it, just saying that it's what it sounds like.
I don't think you actually
more of the TARDIS than ever before.
I don't think you actually need a synopsis to go with that title. That title explains it all.
The next episode
is tries to find a way to the bathroom.
And gets lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the next episode is called The Crimson Horror. It's set in a strange 19th century village called Sweetville. The Doctor investigates when people start going missing in a factory that is run by the mysterious Winifred Gilliflower, played by Diana Rigg.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Yes. Diana Rigg and her daughter, I think, are both in this episode. So that's exciting.
And so is Madame Vostra, Jenny, and Strax. They return.
Yeah.
Then we have Nightmare in Silver, which the working title was The Last Cyberman. And this is going to feature the new redesigned Cyberman.
Yeah, and it's also going to have Warwick Davis.
And it says it's going to contain a cyber something else. They are disgusting.
A cyber something else.
Yes.
Hopefully not Cyber Psy doing Cyber Gangnam Style. That will make me hide behind the couch.
They said part of the story is going to be set in an abandoned theme park called Hedgewick's World.
Oh, God. Okay, Cybermen abandoned theme parks. Okay, yeah, get the couch ready.
Then after that will be the season 7 finale. There's no title out for that yet.
But I'm guessing that, well, I can't actually tell you what I'm guessing because we're going to be talking about the Bells of St. John in a few minutes, and I don't want to give a spoiler away for that review. But I have a feeling that a certain person is going to be in the final episode of the season.
Yes. Talking about River?
Well, I wasn't talking about River, but River too.
River's going to be in it as well as someone else, which we will probably talk about when we talk about the Bells of St. John.
We will be talking. So I was right then. Yes, we
But then the
about.
villain for the season 7 finale they are called the Whispermen.
The Whispermen.
And Moffat has said that this one will leave us a tiny bit worried about where we might think they're going to be going with this direction of the show.
I hear Whispermen, I start thinking about a certain other enemy that we've seen in
Will you
past
please be silent?
I'm sorry. Did you say something? Did somebody say something? I'm sorry. Did someone speaking? I didn't hear anything.
I don't know what we're talking about now.
Why do I have a mark on my arm? Wait, there's another one. What's going on here?
I don't know where I am.
Wait, I'm looking at my sticky notes, and there's like a bunch of them which say, "Don't forget them." I don't understand, and I have more marks on my arm. What's going on here?
Oh, this show, it's just like Immortality, only fatal. That's this show. We're gonna go. Before I want to go to have our first commercial break, so we're gonna go now for the Geekcast Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Gary.
I'm Mike.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Justin. Join the four of us every week on the internet's #1 and longest-running G.I. Joe podcast, What's on Joe Mind?
It's Joe news, reviews, and interviews like you've never heard them before, delivered right to your MP3 player.
Our guests include Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, and Matt Yang King from G.I. Joe Renegades, Larry Hama, Robert Adkins, and John Barber from IDW Publishing, and many more from around the online Joe community.
Yeah, it's guys talking about Joe. Think of it as Joe Talk meets sports talk. And we make fun of Chuck.
Right, and hey, again?
Come on, Chuck. We're just kidding, kinda.
Sometimes Chuck makes fun of himself.
Right, and okay, seriously, this is just getting ridiculous now.
It's What's on Joe Mind, every week on the Geekcast Radio Network, InsidePulse.com, Stitcher Smart Radio, and iTunes. Download and listen today.
I suppose I still can't say something about Transformers, can I?
Good.
No.
What about sports?
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's all right.
So Ed, the commercial we just played was for What's on Joe Mind.
Nice guys.
Nice guys.
Just want to say, Gary, Chuck, Justin, Mike, you guys are listening. Hey, glad to be joining you guys in the Geekcast Radio Network. Love your podcast.
You were on 2 weeks ago. You were on 2 weeks ago. I heard it yesterday.
Yeah, I was on I was on their call-in show. Had a great time. They're a good bunch of guys. I've met most of them in person at JoeCon. So great group. I love listening to their podcast. But if we can get back to our podcast, I do want to make an important announcement to the listeners. Okay. For this second half of the show, we will be talking about the Bells of St. John, and we will be dropping some spoilers because we do want to talk about things that happen in the episode.
Yes, we will. So
to anyone, this is something I'm doing of my own, of my own volition. Okay, I'm doing this. Okay, we didn't rehearse this, we didn't discuss this, but I'm going to do it because I want to be nice to you, the listeners. If you have not watched the Bells of St. John and you're listening to this podcast, hit the pause button now. Okay, you hit the pause button. Go to YouTube. Go to On Demand, go to your DVR, wherever you have the episode, watch the episode.
Legally, though.
Please do legal, but if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't seen the episode, go watch it now. We can wait. We'll be fine, okay? We have some drinks here. We have some food. For Easter, my mom's making a ham. I'll have some ham.
Wow.
We can wait, okay? We can wait. We'll chill out here. Just when you're ready, unpause, okay?
Right.
All right, good. Okay, you ready now? Okay. Pause.
Whatever you do, please, I hope you did not watch it on Wi-Fi or we have a problem.
Yeah, well, I will say this. If you're back, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you've still been listening, good for you. Good for you. You saw it with everybody else. You were able to. That's good. But we will now move on, and we will discuss the episode, which, as Mark said, apparently, according to the episode, there's danger in the Wi-Fi, and it's not that it will drop because your provider is a jerk.
Actually, that would have been a good resolution to the episode. It would have ended pretty much early. If I think you could have a writing career at Doctor Who.
Oh, there you go. How there you go. Could have, there you go. How Bells of St. John could have ended early. I'm sorry. What was the lady's name again? Miss
Kislet.
Miss Kislet. Miss Kislet. I'm sorry, Miss Kislet. We couldn't download the Dispatch of Humans. The service provider sucked. The service provider was horrible. They went down. They said that they're working on the problem and it'll be back in 12 hours, and they're sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah. That we would have had it would have ended early, and then we would have just had Clara and the Doctor going all lovey-dovey. I'm sorry, the snogging with. I think the River, when River comes back in, River's gonna be pretty pissed. Don't you think? He's flirting. He's flirting with the companion, and actually, I don't think she's.
Looks like the Doctor's gonna be sleeping on the couch.
He's not really flirting with her. She's flirting with him.
I know, but he's flirting back. Come on, he's
not.
He's so excited that she's going to come back at 7:00 the next day. He's getting himself ready, all ready to go back at 7:00 to ask her if
he's just intrigued by her.
You know what? I got to tell you something.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
That's how it starts. But can I say something? I don't think River's going to be that mad because, see, the whole point of the title, The Bells of St. John, as you know, there's a St. John's ambulance sign on the Doctor's TARDIS, and the Doctor is back in a what would a monk live in? That's called
monastery.
A monastery. Thank you, Trish. A monastery, and the TARDIS phone starts ringing. The Bells of St. John. The TARDIS phone was ringing, and it happens to be Clara calling for help with her internet. And she says that she got the number from a woman in the local shop. I have a feeling that was River. I don't think River wants the Doctor to be alone. She knows what's been going on with the Doctor, especially with the snowmen, that he gave up, helping the universe, and she doesn't want him to be alone. And since she's obviously doing something else, she decided, let's hook them back up. So I think that's what happened.
There's lots of theories online. I've heard from that the girl in the shop being everyone from River to Martha to Rose to Sally.
It could have been the video shop.
She's going to be the Wall Street sequel. She's done with Doctor Who, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I have a feeling because River's
not
coming
just the
back.
Wall Street sequel, but I think she's gotten enough of a career that getting her back, Moffat may need to pull out the checkbook.
Speaking of River, have you been watching Arrow? Alex Kingston's on.
Oh yeah, and she's her character is technically
Black Canary.
Technically Black Canary.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Too bad that Arrow is kind of more real world based. Otherwise, we'd see River pull a canary cry. Getting back to the show, getting back to Doctor Who, I will say this with the Bells of St. John. Yeah, it did take me a while to kind of get the joke of the title, and I will have to say this: while it is a surprise to hear the TARDIS phone ringing, I do say one shouldn't be too one shouldn't freak out too much because it could be worse. It could have been the cloister bell ringing. Then that particular Bell of St. John would have been bad.
Yeah.
Well,
the phone ringing is not so bad. If it's the cloister bell, then everybody, the Doctor, the audience, would pretty much be going, "Oh, crud, we're all going to die."
Well, going back on the theory that it could be that River Song was the woman that helped. First of all, the phone number was the most important phone number in the universe to help her out. And by the way, I saw the episode at one of the conventions, Hurricane Who. Hi guys.
Hey Jared, how you doing? Hey Dan, how's it going?
It was great. It was phenomenal, and the biggest laugh that the show got was the moment that the Doctor is helping her with her internet problem. He's sitting there all flustered going, okay, have you connected on the Wi-Fi and all that. But we also see that there's some kind of a bit of an arch that their book's being written by Amelia Williams.
Yes.
So we do see that tie-in that it could be possibly River. Remember, River told the Doctor at the end of Angels Take Manhattan, find somebody.
Yeah,
so
and that was why I thought that must have been River.
So could the Hunt family be helping connect the Doctor to Oswald, and is there a lot more that we are not seeing yet?
That's the only thing, though. I mean, that's my only, which is if it's supposed to be significant, the person who gave the doctor the number, the woman who gave the doctor the number, I'm sorry that they didn't do some sort of follow-up, like have a scene at the end.
They may do it later. They're not going to rush everything. Stephen
Well,
Moffat
maybe,
has
but
pacing.
I don't know. I mean, this is the type of thing that it wouldn't have been so bad having it in the episode itself. I mean, it's just Doctor Who. This is Lost.
Speaking of the book, book Summer Falls by Amelia Williams, it's actually going to be available as an ebook this Tuesday.
Yes, on Thursday. I heard it was April 4th it's coming out.
Oh, I heard
April
it was on
4th.
Tuesday.
Maybe it is on April 2nd. I
It'll
heard
be
it was
available this week.
This week on Amazon.com on the Kindle. I'm totally going to order it when we're done doing this podcast.
Yes. Now, the summary of the book, talks about this girl on her summer holiday, and she finds a mysterious painting called the Lord of Winter. And so I was wondering, remember when Matt Smith, when he said something about paintings?
Yeah.
And it was some kind of big bomb.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but
it might. And you know what? It's interesting. I when I get the book, I'm going to go straight to chapter 11 because 11 is the best. I'll tell you that. The book was it was kind of like it's like the Madame Vastra book that they did as a special thing for the Snowmen, and like the Melody Malone book. It's a little bonus for the viewer who likes to read. Short ebook.
Yeah. And I got to say, well, getting on to another point, it's interesting that once again, when we see Clara, she's in the position of governess. The Doctor notices it, and this is now 2 out of 3 that we've had Clara as a as a nanny figure, as someone who's looking after the younger set.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. On the description of, and going back to what you said earlier, Ed, a description, and I've heard this kind of in a combination, so I'm paraphrasing this. In the way that Moffat tells the story in the arch, different from like Russell T. Davis and any writers in the past, it's kind of like Moffat brings in a 10,000-piece puzzle to you and drops it on the floor and says, start putting that together. And as soon as you start putting the pieces together, he brings in another 10,000-piece puzzle set and says, oh, by the way, this set also fits too.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I totally agree. That's a great analogy. Let's get back to the story. So, the Wi-Fi is important because it seems that people's souls or their intelligence are getting sucked up into the Wi-Fi. And Miss Kislet seems to be responsible, but, she's got a client that she's working for. And I mentioned that there was a phone call for the doctor for the Bells of St. John. And it's to find out how to use the Wi-Fi because Clara seems to be a total numbskull when it comes to computers, at least at first, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I think she, I think even the one of the little girls she's looking over has to tell her, people can be on the internet at the same time. It's not, trying to tell Clara that they're kind of beyond the dial-up years when, like, sorry, Mark, I have to use the phone. You're gonna have to get off.
But you'd think that the Doctor would be able to tell Clara's voice, and because he's heard her only as a voice when she in Asylum of the Daleks. You would think the Doctor, looking for Clara, would be able to recognize Clara's voice, and yet he doesn't realize it until the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, well, then again, think about it this way, because, first of all, he's only met Clara face-to-face once.
But he's obsessing over her. He's drawn a picture of her in a monastery.
Yes, but also
focused on Clara,
remember,
he doesn't recognize the voice.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, and this is something, remember, before the Bells of St. John, we did have a tiny prequel.
Yeah.
Which showed that, the Doctor was having no luck. He was jumping at random and not running into her. Part of it is that when he heard the phone call, first of all, he didn't know what was going on, so he didn't have a chance to focus. And then number two, remember, this is off the TARDIS phone, so it may be that the reception wasn't exactly crystal clear. So
I was just going to say that voices sound different over the phone. I mean, I know from experience that, you guys sound totally different over Skype than you do on the telephone.
Exactly. I mean, that we can hand wave with simple explanation. But to me, well, first of all, getting to the beginning of the episode, I know that the guy that we see at the beginning of the episode, the one with what looks like an amateur video, actually had a chunk of his speech online, and then we get a repeat of it. And then we get the twist where it turns out he's trapped in the Wi-Fi. First of all, I got to say that very scary opening, especially when the twist comes in. And also, I have to say that the whole thing of, where am I? I don't know where I am. Where am I? That is going to go on my list of phrases that Doctor Who has now made terrifying, right next to, hey, who turned out the lights?
When they first said, I don't know where I am, my girlfriend said to me, she said, that's going to be the next T-shirt. I don't know where I am.
Yeah, no, that's probably going to be a T-shirt. But again, it's going to go right up there with, who turned out the lights? And... are you my mommy? and burn with me.
I actually had some interesting points. Somebody pointed out, and I don't know why they came up with this, but I thought it was hysterical, some Batman references.
Oh.
What?
The first one being the Doctor now wearing this purple outfit that would be reminiscent of the Joker, and the Doctor's anti-grav bicycle going up the side of the building in remnants of the Adam West.
Yes. In fact, actually, I think Trish and I were talking, and when that scene came up, I was saying Batman must be so jealous right now.
Batman had to go up with a batarang and a rope. The Doctor goes up on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if even as we speak, you can go online on like Facebook or Tumblr or Twitter, and there's pictures of the Doctor on the bike, and then there's like a window opening, and there's a celebrity. I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening right now. There's somebody listening to this podcast going, yes, and they're right now on Google, getting pictures of celebrities and trying to, cut and paste. And
something that's interesting about the Shard building that my roommate told me, which I did not know, was that building was actually built on the site of Canary Wharf.
Yes. Ooh, and whoa. Canary Wharf, for those of you who remember...
Yeah, that was where Torchwood was based on. Yeah, Torchwood 1
was based.
Kind of makes me wonder, does that mean if they go back to the Shard building, we'll find... Yvonne stuck in the basement somewhere. Still crying oil tears, going, I did it for my country.
I did for Queen and Country.
Queen and Country, yeah.
Well, you know what? I can't tell the future. I only worked there, so I can't answer that question. I'm sorry.
I will say that when I heard that the company, the ones who were in charge of the Wi-Fi plot, when I first heard they were based out of the Shard, already when they were talking about Mystery Client, I was opening the little Doctor Who encyclopedia in my head and running villains. And I actually figured the Great Intelligence was one of the choices. I was thinking, could they be bringing him back so soon? When they said Shard, I was like trying to link the two together, and I was thinking, okay, Shard, you think shards of glass, but could it also be ice shard?
Yeah.
When I was watching it with Trish, one of the things I was telling her is, let's pay attention, see if the logo will flash, see if they do the whole GI thing again.
The thing about the Great Intelligence was that Richard E. Grant was listed in the cast list in the Radio Times, so it wasn't the secret was let out of the bag early. There was a thing, and I was hoping that it was a misdirection, but it turned out that he was in it.
Yeah,
but I was a little sad.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but it is interesting. But it is interesting that when the Great Intelligence makes his reappearance, that it's still using Dr. Simeon as a template.
Yeah.
So it is, and it also kind of brings up more to the mystery of Clara, because okay, here's the Great Intelligence back. It's still using Mr. Simeon as its basis.
Right.
So it makes so it kind of means, well, wait, does that mean maybe the two are connected?
Yeah.
Does that maybe Clara and the Great Intelligence have a bigger connection than we think?
It's very possible. And by the way, that's the person who I'm thinking is going to be in the last episode of the season. Will be Richard D. Grant.
I will say this. I did see a website which was posting cast lists for the episode. For the episodes this batch for the season, for the 7B season. And what made me raise my eyebrow is that it started with the cast for the Snowmen.
Right.
So it lists jenna-louise-coleman, it lists Madame Vostra, it lists Jenny, it lists Strax, it listed Richard E. Grant.
Right.
And then the final episode of the season, it was almost as if both it put almost exactly the same cast. And I look at it and I'm going, well, wait a minute. Did somebody goof and repeat it? Or is this actually the cast and, we're going to have the same people again?
Well, it's starting to look like we're going to have the same people again if what you're saying is true.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Richard E. Grant, we have the return of Richard E. Grant and he's now playing the Great Intelligence. So maybe we do have Strax, Jenny, and Madame Vostra show up and maybe we have another round of fighting the Great Intelligence.
And now we're going to have another round of commercials. We'll be right back.
Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, GeekCastRadio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on GeekCastRadio.com.
Doctor Who began its long history back in 1963 and continues to this day. With the worldwide popularity of the show, can you believe that there was a long period of time when the show was absent from the airwaves? We call that the Wilderness Year. All was not lost, though, during those 16 years. Virgin Publishing and then BBC Books had several original Doctor Who novel lines featuring all the past Doctors and companions. These books are all out of print now, but where can you get them? At Mark Who 42 Books on Amazon. If you love to read and love Doctor Who, these books are cool. If you're a diehard Whovian needing to fill in gaps of your collection, fantastic! We also have annuals and reference manuals. All books are in new and like-new condition. If you're interested, go to amazon.com/shops/markwho42 and see for yourself. That's amazon.com/shops/MARKWHO42. And we're back. Okay. Let's keep going here with The Bells of St. John, a retrospective on that episode here on Mark Who 42's WHOniverse. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me again are...
Tricia Helm.
Eduardo M Freyre.
And special guest...
And I'm Mark Baumgarten. Christian Basel. Sorry.
Yeah, Christian. Don't be getting in the wrong place there. I don't think I can be in two places at once, can I?
Oh, either that or he's... maybe he's Spoonhead Mark. Maybe
no, not the Spoonhead.
We have two Marks. That's one of you is Spoonhead Mark.
I'm the walking Wi-Fi base station. It must be me.
Walking Wi-Fi station. It could be worse. I could be better. It could be Tricia Helm right there. So it could be a heck of a lot.
No. Nobody's downloading Patricia while I'm around.
If you're listening to us on Wi-Fi, make sure you did not use the password RYCBAR123. That's Run You Clever Boy, and remember, 123. You don't want to use that password.
The password's not the problem. It was the weird script that showed up when you're looking to access Wi-Fi.
Right. I know that. I was just waiting for a chance to throw that in, and I couldn't find anywhere else in the show. I just had to put it there. That was a bomb. I blew it. Okay.
Yes, you did. Go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did.
But you know what? I gotta come back. I gotta come back to breakfast because I'm hungry. And as long as you're in a time machine, it's a time machine. You never have to wait for breakfast. So let's keep going.
Well, and hey, even if you have to take a nap, the doctor is always gonna bring you tea. He's gonna bring you jammy Dodgers. So
yeah. And it'll let you carry coffee wherever you go in a mug.
Yeah, hopefully, and I gotta say, for the new companion, Clara better be very careful, because I don't want to know what will happen with the TARDIS console if you get coffee all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, the TARDIS is a sensitive machine. I don't know if we want to get coffee on the systems.
No. Now, we were mentioning the spoonheads before as the walking Wi-Fi base stations. They
now, Mark. Now, hold on. Mark.
Yes.
Mark, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay, because when we first reported about the bad guys being named Spoonheads, you kind of went off. You kind of ragged on them, but
and they look like ice cream.
Now that we have had the Spoonheads, now that we've seen them in action,
they're called servants.
They looked like ice cream scoops. I was right. We will serve you tasty.
Oh God, no! I'm sorry, no.
They look like an ice cream scoop when their head turned around.
No, I gotta look. I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm gonna have to call you to carpet for this, okay? Because I think honestly, I think the Spoonheads that was some scary stuff. They were cool. I mean, there's nothing like having, like, you're sitting there, you're talking to somebody, all of a sudden they start repeating a phrase. You start to notice there's no emotion on their face, and then the head turning.
Emotion on their face.
The head. I mean, come on! You got to give something where the head's turning and there's nothing in the back. Where there should
give something. The head is turning. There's nothing in the back.
Right. There's nothing in the back, and then it does a whole 180 degrees, and in the back you just have this glowing thing, which is 2 seconds away from sucking your soul out. I mean, come on! That's scary. That is scary.
Right,
I mean,
that is scary.
These things, it almost kind of reminds me of the Clockwork robots from Girl in the Fire.
The robots are a good assessment.
Like, especially like when you get to that sequence where Ten took off the mask, and then you had this little clear clockwork head. I mean, it's just that
a clear clockwork head, exactly.
Especially like when 11 in this episode deactivated the spoonhead that was first attacking Clara, and you just have this very simplistic robot body. I mean, really, I think that your ragging on them was a little was just a little unfounded. I mean,
my ragging on them was a little unfounded.
They were. I mean, these things were. I mean, okay, the name sounds kind of silly, but in true Doctor Who fashion, these things were pretty scary. I mean, I think
especially when their heads started spinning around.
Guys, you've completely missed it. I was taken over by a spoonhead, and you completely missed out.
Hey, Mark, next season they're going to have the fork and knife heads, so
just
be on the lookout there.
I want the spork.
I'm going to eat the cake. Have some cake with the ice.
Patricia, you like butter pecan? Because I'm starving.
No, man. You know what? I'm a chocolate cake man. Chocolate cake.
Okay. Can we get back to tack here? Can we go back? Yeah. Okay.
Did you guys catch the little dig at Twitter that Moffat slipped in there?
Yes,
I
did.
He quit Twitter a while back because people were just being too mean to him. So, yeah.
I give Moffat some crap, but I have to admit I'm not a big fan of Twitter either. That's like one of the last.
Hey, we're on Twitter. We have Twitter. We have a Twitter account. We can't be dissing Twitter here.
Okay. The show has a Twitter account, but me personally, I don't have a Twitter account. That's one of the last social media thresholds that I have yet to jump over.
Tweet at MarkWho42 to give Ed a tongue lashing on this one.
Oh Lord. Okay, I'm counting that as a shameless plug.
Drink.
I'm counting that as a shameless plug.
Okay.
That counts. That is counting.
Okay.
So anyway, I was at Hurricane Who, and it was a good episode. It was a really good episode. I got the taco salad. Very nice. They didn't give me the shell. They did. I was the last person to get a taco salad. They did not get me a shell.
Did they give you a spoon?
But yeah, and actually, I have to admit, the scene in as far as scary stuff in this episode, I got to admit, it was kind of freaky. The scene in the coffee shop when the Doctor goes to get a refill, and you have our villainess for the episode jumping from body to body, trying to tell the Doctor exactly how totally hopeless it is to win. That was some really frightening stuff. I mean, all that body jumping and her just commanding everything, like when she tells everybody to clear out or freeze. I mean, wow. I mean, that's just some classic villain stuff. It also reminded me of the Christmas Invasion, when the Sycorax were controlling people and making them get up on the rooftops.
Yeah, then the Doctor, takes over the Wi-Fi robot and sends that one, on the quadricycle up the shard into her office.
Was that really supposed to be the quadricycle? Because I thought the quadricycle was in the garage at the house, not inside the TARDIS.
No,
that does seem.
That
it
was
does.
the anti-grav motorcycle.
Okay.
In the garage in the TARDIS was his.
Right, that was the anti-grav cycle.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, I would have wanted to see the quadricycle in action.
Yeah.
See, when they talked about the quadricycle, I thought that's what they were. When the motorcycle came out, I thought that was going to be the quadricycle, but little disappointing. But hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get it in a future episode. Maybe that'll be the new Bessie.
I loved her line as she was talking. She was saying that that the client requires a steady diet of human minds, and she goes on to say that no one loves cattle more than Burger King.
This had so many catchphrases. Really, if you think about it, there are so many T-shirts, so many jokes. I mean, there were so many good lines in this story.
You know what, Mark? You should write all this down. You may have some ideas for new T-shirts.
Yeah, no, I've been writing them down. Them down. We were talking about the Doctor was in the cafe, and from there we find that Clara gets sucked up again. We didn't mention that she got sucked up. She was getting sucked up by the Wi-Fi, and the Doctor stopped it, and that's how they. That's what happened before. But she got sucked up for good, and and by a Doctor lookalike Spoonhead, right?
Yes.
That was me that Mark said sucked up 4 times in that whole sentence.
Okay, so.
But yeah, and it's
sucked,
interesting.
That's why you bring me into these things.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it should be Christian instead of Mark from now on. But yeah, I will. I will say this, that it's interesting though. We have the Doctor sending Spoonhead Doctor in his place to motivate Miss Kislet. First of all, again, we have the Doctor, using the enemy tech against them, which almost reminds me of the Doctor using a Ganger body back in series 6. The other thing for me is, and it's interesting that the episode itself really didn't touch on this, but when you think about it, this is the 3rd time the Doctor has had an adventure with Clara. But the first time, he succeeded. She's alive. Yeah. He didn't fail. She's alive. She's okay. They're actually going to now start adventuring together. So, 3rd time's the charm. And, and I will have to say this, though. All this build-up to, Clara being the new companion, and she has to think about it.
Well,
she's
that's a change in pace.
Let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it, come back tomorrow? I mean, for real? Really? We're now going to have a companion that's going to be like, let me sleep on it. I'm not too sure. I mean, really?
Oh, she's just teasing. It's a tease. She's going with it. I mean, it's like a Hepburn, a Tracy Hepburn movie.
Oh God!
Where we're going with this?
Yeah,
we are. And it was nice that Unit showed up, which brings back to the Web of Fear with the Great Intelligence.
Yeah, great. And I did. It's too bad that we couldn't have Kate Stewart pop in for at least a second.
That's what I was going to say. No Kate. I was a little disappointed in that.
Yeah, I will say this. Trish and I were wondering, Miss Kislet, when the heck did the Great Intelligence get a hold of her?
When she was a very small child.
That we're talking. She was under control for decades. That's freaky.
Well, remember, Dr. Simeon was taken. Met the Great Intelligence when he was a small boy.
Yeah, but that's wow. I mean, it was. I mean, yeah, I was saying how scary it was. The phrase of where am I? I don't know where I am. But it's also kind of frightening seeing her like on the floor looking up at the unit soldiers with this, this very puzzled look on her face, going, "Where's my mommy and daddy?"
Yeah.
They said they wouldn't leave me alone, but they said they'd be back. I mean, that's just scary. I mean,
it's scary and sick.
Trish and I were both like taken aback. We were like, "Whoa, how long has this lady been under control?"
Well, not only is there the similarities between that and Dr. Simi, but also there's similarities, if you notice, on both sides when the Great Intelligence is introduced. Mm-hmm. Both times it's mentioned with Clara that whatever the monsters were, it was taking it from her mind. So is there something going on in Clara's mind that's going on? Remember, the snowmen came up, and she had to think and melt the snowmen.
Right.
And the doctor, before the airplane was about to crash into them, he mentions that they must have went into your mind to grab out something.
The first spoonhead that we see is a real image of the little girl on the cover to the book. By the way, that did remind me of something. There's another Doctor Who enemy who used images from people's subconsciousness. I'm thinking back to the very first enemy that Matt Smith faced, which was Prisoner Zero.
Yeah.
He did the same thing. You had, kept on changing forms. At one point we had the lady with the dog, but, screwed up so that, the lady opens her mouth and we had the fangs. But, that's the second time we've had a villain that uses that pulls from the subconscious.
Yeah.
Kind of also makes me wonder if that's on purpose or if it's just Moffat reusing an idea.
Yeah. Well, at this point, we're going to stop and do one last little break for the Geekcast Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Tooncast is dedicated to the cartoons we grew up with. 100 episodes and more make up one of the GCRN's most popular podcasts. Join hosts TFG and Mike, Optimus Solo, Terror the Rising Star, and tons of guest hosts. We also have voice actor and writer interviews. Tune in to Tooncast as we look back on the cartoons that defined us as geeks. You can find Tooncast on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Tune in.
Okay. I wanted to mention, we were talking about the book Summer Falls, but there was another book in this story, wasn't there?
Oh, the 101 Places to See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think when the doctor licked that leaf? What was going on in the doctor's mind?
Well, I know what I was thinking, and Trish can back this up. I was thinking, ew, no, ew, yuck, no, bad.
I was
bad.
like, I was thinking it was going back to 10, licking everything.
Yeah.
But ew,
actually,
man.
But did you?
If you don't mind me, let me introduce this. When she first licked the leaf, she said that was the first page.
Yes.
I was thinking when she was a child, when the prequel, when they were sitting out by the playground and all the leaves are falling on the ground.
She picked up one of those leaves. We got to go back and watch that prequel again and see if it's the same kind of tree.
And that explains the first pages when she met the doctor for the first time.
Did you guys notice that where it had listed her ages, that the ages of 16 and 23 were missing?
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah, it started at what? Was it 10 or 11 years old?
10.
10. It started at 10.
How old was that girl in the prequel?
It's going to sound weird, too. What were those ages again?
16 and 23.
Okay. This is going to sound weird, and this is going to be a weird conspiracy. I hope somebody looks this up. But at the end of the episode, you'll notice that there was a reference that goes back to the Seventh Doctor when Matt Smith mentioned you'll be back in time for tea.
Yes.
Same thing that the Seventh Doctor said to Ace. Now, what were the ages that she was faking? Because she said something like, I was 18 or 16, and she was missing the ages.
Oh, my
And
God.
she was faking back in Dragonfire, like, how old are you? So, I mean, it's a query, but I just thought, well, that
wow,
there, and that's why one of the ages were missing. She never really mentioned her age. Now,
I think she was supposed to be the 16. The 16 years seems right. I don't know about the 23, but the 16, I remember Ace using at one point. Wow.
That's a stretch, but I mean,
and what was the first year that she wrote down?
10.
10. What year did she go into the house that was for Ghostlight when she burned that house down?
I can't remember. It was a younger age.
It was a younger age. Yeah.
I mean, it's a stretch, but that's something I'll be looking into, and nobody can see. And I was like, an old timer like me is just like, wait a minute, he said that same line in the Seventh Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's a stretch, but I
like stretches on Mark 42's WHOniverse. Stretching is good.
Unfortunately, my 101 Places, the only page on the book says the Playboy Mansion. So,
woo! Don't put the power down.
Well, I definitely have more. I definitely have more pages filled in my 101 places. I know that one is coming up very soon.
Yeah. Oh,
Trish,
yeah. I know what you're talking about, too. Get your own snogging box and leave us alone. You know where I want to go?
A little segue. I think a little This is the perfect chance for a segue to go from one book to another. In addition to the Bells of St. John, there was something else that we wanted to. I think Mark, you and I wanted to discuss.
Oh yeah.
In this particular case, we'll go from books to comic books.
Comic books.
I had a chance to pick up IDW's Doctor Who Prisoners of Time #2, and I believe, Mark, you picked up #3, which actually came out more recently.
Got the first 3 issues.
I looked at, I read, the minute I picked up #2, I read it on the way home, and I have to say, I like the art better in issue 2 than I do #1.
You could recognize the main characters in the second.
Yeah, because I mean, the problem I have is that the artist for issue 1, I don't know, there were in some cases where I could not recognize who the characters were.
Oh, you're right.
I recognize some people, but then others I'm like, wait, is that supposed to be, I don't know. This time I could definitely tell that Zoe was Zoe.
Yeah.
Jamie was Jamie. I could tell. The one thing, though, I know that they have the plot taking place in, well, they say it's supposed to be intergalactic bazaar.
Right.
But the way it was drawn and the way the feel was more of a shopping mall. And I've seen this criticism with other reviews of the issue, and I have to agree. A shopping mall just doesn't seem like a very Second Doctor-ish location.
No.
It doesn't seem to fit with like a Second Doctor-style adventure. If it had been more kind of classically themed foreign bazaar, that would have worked. But the trappings were very shopping mall-ish, and I don't know. If this had been maybe the Sixth Doctor's issue, or even one of the more modern Doctors like 9 or 10 or even 11, it would have made more sense. But with this one, it didn't feel like it went with the Doctor. I will say this: I love the fact that we do get an appearance by the Ice Warriors.
Definitely,
that's just great timing. So it's nice to get a little taste of that. Except for the end, I do notice that the adventure was very standalone. If you just alter the last page, you could have this as just a standalone Second Doctor comic.
Well, that's what they were shooting for. They were shooting for standalone stories that had a running arc. And we're going to talk a little more about that arc after I talk about the third issue, the John Pertwee issue. First of all, it takes place you know how that whole unit timeline thing goes on, how it was supposed to be in the 80s, but then they contradicted what year it was in.
Yeah.
This takes place the first caption says Unit Headquarters, London, England, 1974.
Okay.
And Liz Shaw has already left Unit. So I mean, they were going with the years of when the show came out, not with the Unit timeline. They totally messed up the Unit timeline.
Okay, I seem to also. I remember I saw the preview for issue 3 and saw that the Doctor is hanging out with Sarah Jane.
Yes, in fact, Liz went back to Unit because there's a world disaster going on, and she calls in the Doctor, who's with Sarah. And, it's a good story. The Brigadier's in it. It feels like a Third Doctor story. The villains are a new villain called the Remaraxians. It was really good. But, and like the other stories in this comic book, it was a standalone adventure until the last page. Now, Ed, tell us what happened in the last page of yours, of issue 2.
Well, issue 1 and issue 2 have the same ending, where in the last page, the Doctor has saved the day, and then when he and his companions go to leave, the companions disappear. In this particular instance, in issue 2, in order to get to a location, in this case a slave auction, the Doctor and his companions use a transmat.
Right.
When they go to the transmat to leave, the second Doctor materializes at the other end, but Jamie and Zoe don't.
Right. And do you remember at the beginning of the first issue, there was someone that was looking into the Doctor and saying, "Oh, this is the Doctor," and he was gonna make things interesting for him, and it was the villain showed up in the first episode, but you never saw him.
Yeah.
In the last page of the third story, and I'm not going to give a spoiler, except to say you see more of this villain as he takes away the companions, and there is a shot of something on his wrist that will be very, very familiar to people who watch Doctor Who.
Okay, so we do get at least a little bit more.
Yeah, you kind of get an idea what's going on.
Okay, so they don't out and out say who it is.
No,
but we get a little bit more. We get a little more of a taste.
Yeah, you get a little more of a taste, and you see the villain actually taking away the companions, but you don't see his face.
Because that's the thing. I mean, I was wondering after reading this second issue, from issue 2, like all the way over to the end, are we just going to have these issues be like standalone stories, but with the last page, whoever the companions are disappearing, and the Doctor going, "Wait, where are you?"
No, the third Doctor got to see what was going on. The third Doctor actually saw them taken away by this agent, so as you will.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it looks like it's going to be a pretty good comic series. I've been liking it.
I can't wait. I gotta say, I can't wait. First of all, I can't wait to get my hands on issue 3, and I can't wait to see what issue 4 brings up. Especially because issue 4 will have the Tom Baker, the Tom Baker era, and I'm very curious to see who he's paired off with. In fact, actually, that's my question for all the issues, would be seeing who everybody gets paired off with. Who are they going to give to 6? Who's 7 going to have?
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking it can't be Sarah Jane because of the way this ended.
Yeah, well, I mean, we still have a lot of choices. We have Leela, we have 2 flavors of Romana, we have K9, Nyssa and Tegan,
and like you said, Adric. Yeah.
Although maybe they'll save Nyssa and Tegan and Adric for 5, but we still have a few choices.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder, when we get to 11, will we have one last hurrah for the Pond?
Does the Pond still show up in the actual Doctor Who comic that's being made?
Yeah, so they haven't caught up with the series in the sense of time to change companions.
Yeah. But you know what time it is now? It's time to say goodbye to everybody. We're done with the show. Today's show's over. Can you believe it?
Well, Patricia and I are eating ice cream in the corner right now, so you guys are having a good time.
You using your spoon?
We're using our spoon heads, yes.
Yeah. So next week, of course,
more butter pecan, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep making fun of them, and one day you're going to be in a Starbucks, and then all of a sudden the barista's going to be like, "You don't like the spoonheads, Mark?" And then next thing you know, the person behind you is going to be going, "We spent a lot of time on them." And then the guy who's getting his coffee across the way will stare at you. The head will turn, and then I'm going to see a text on my phone which says, "Where am I? I don't know where I am. Please help me."
Okay, I will admit the Spoonheads were good characters. It was not what I had said they were going to be. Stephen did do a good job. I will admit that. I was wrong.
He said he was going to make Wi-Fi scary, and he did. I mean, I was watching. We watched it. Trish and I watched it twice. Second time we were watching it, for some reason my signal went down. And I got to say, there's nothing like watching an episode with evil Wi-Fi and losing your signal for a moment.
Yeah.
That's just frightening.
Can I say one more thing?
One more thing? Yes.
Yes. Someone just sent me a post. It's the poster for next week's episode, The Rings of Akatan.
Ooh.
And Clara, there's a doctor and some other characters on there, but Clara's behind him, and in her hand, she's holding up and looking at a red leaf.
Oh.
Ooh.
It looks like the red leaf from her book.
Yeah.
So, are we out of order again?
Oh, not again. Not out of order again.
I got to get that out.
And instead of taking a shot because of the shameless plug, I'm gonna have to take an aspirin.
Yeah. When that happens, take an aspirin. Okay. So like I said, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much, Christian, for showing up on our show today.
Thank you, Mark. Can I give a shameless plug myself?
Shameless plug. Go for it.
Okay. Everybody join the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on Facebook if you want to see the TARDIS and places of new adventures and places it normally doesn't go. And there is a question on the site today, a big question, in light of...
Doctor Who?
Actually, kind of.
I like the fact that the Doctor likes hearing that question now. Even though he knows it's the question that must not be asked, he likes hearing people saying it.
Exactly.
Especially Clara.
But this question is in light of now at Epcot, they are selling Doctor Who merchandise, and of course the land at in Universal Studios at Harry Potter with that fame over there. Is it time that the Doctor gets his own ride/attraction somewhere in the United States?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by Rassilon, yes.
Well, join the site and come on over and give us your theories on that. Let's see what happens.
And remember that Mark 42's WHOniverse, we're on Facebook. At Mark 42 is our Twitter, like we mentioned. You can give us suggestions or comments at mark@mark42.com. You can also go to mark42.com. Go to iTunes if you're listening to us. There, you already know that. Geekcast Radio Network, Florida Geek Scene. We're all around the net by Wi-Fi.
We're taking over, where the great intelligence and his minions failed, we will succeed.
We will succeed.
We're going to be taking over the Wi-Fi. Next time you need to sign on, if you see the Mark 42 symbol, access it if you dare.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Oh, my.
What do you want to see?
Something awesome.
Back at 10.
Can we see it? Up close. Oh, you okay?
Have you seen her?
Who?
I'm Mary Galel.
The Queen of Years.
I'm the vessel of our history.
What's happening? Is that supposed to happen? Doctor?
You don't walk away.
Mary!
I'm armed with a screwdriver.
Grandfather's away.
Mark 42's WHOniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia Helm, Eduardo M Freyre, and Christian Basel.
Mark 42 WHOniverse.
Audio and sound by Mark Baumgarten. This show was co-produced by Patricia Helm, Mark Baumgarten, and Eduardo M Freyre, and edited and directed by Mark Baumgarten. This podcast is streaming from mark42.com and the Geekcast Radio Network and was recorded on March 31st, 2013. Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation.
Mark 42 WHOniverse.
This podcast is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten et al. 2013.